So with a presentation, you don't want to, stand in front of people and go through your slides like, this is number one, this is what it is, this is what it is, this is what it is. Yeah, you want to create a whole story, a story that brings people together and sells. You see the way like when you watch like Safaricom ads, like you are sold on Safaricom somehow. You're sold on when you watch, I don't know, just those advertisements on TV, you're sold on buying the product one way or another. So the idea of the presentation is not just to present, but you want to sell whatever it is. And trust me, you can sell anything if you present it well. Like if you start out with a good story where you paint a picture and you just tell the people why they need to buy anything that it is, or just, buy into the idea. And also one thing to remember is that's very important is just body language. You should always try to own the presentation as much as you can. Try and own it. Don't like look at your slides. Don't let the slide own you. Just own the presentation, like master it as much as you can. So there's body language and the story. And then we'll go through it as well with some of the examples. This is just like to intro. If you're going to a business boardroom, and you give, somebody a rap to listen to, like we may think it's cool, but then the boardroom will be like, what are you guys doing? So like this one in this context may be really awesome, like a rap as in you've never seen something like that, but it relates to you and it's in the proper context. And that's how it's gonna hit home. But in a boardroom, you want something clean, you want something, that they'll not have to read too much or think too deeply or, think you're a joker somehow. But you just want to understand the people that you're targeting and know what exactly they want from it. And then now from there, you get to create everything regarding that. Because that's the only way you'll be able to sell to the audience. Yeah. So, and then, make sure your presentation also has like the 5, like who, what, when, where, and why. Always make sure you know who you're selling to, who it affects, what the product is. So all this is supposed to be building up to, you can imagine you're trying to sell something to somebody, right? You're not going to talk around the product. You're not going to talk around, beat around the bush. You have to literally drive this point home, like so that they know why they're, buying. If they're giving money, if you're telling them to give like $10,000, they need to know why, and they need to have a very clear picture where their money is going, right? And then you have after the why. Oh yeah, where? It should be 5 of them. The why should be the biggest part, why this is very important to them. And then you have the call to action. So what is it that you want for them to do after listening to this? What do you want your audience to do for you? Is it funding? Is it like just something you want them to keep in mind? Basically, the takeaway, the biggest takeaway that this presentation should have, the goals or the objective for this presentation. And then, try and keep time. Don't overtalk, don't give like 1,000 slides. Try and keep it very minimal because again, the slides should always support everything that you're doing. You shouldn't have to look back or like flip through 40 slides because by that time, I'm sure people have already clocked out. So again, what we went through, just know your audience. And it'll help you pick. Knowing your audience, by the way, just like, sorry, what's your name? Niva. Yeah, just like Niva said, knowing your audience is, Eva. Huh? Oh, Eva. I thought you said Niva. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so as Eva said, like, if you know your audience, you'll be able to deliver like a very captivating presentation to them. And it helps you craft the message and the tone. Uh-huh.
It helps you pick the font?
Yeah, the font, color, theme, everything. So this slideshow deck you guys will have, for sure. And then, again, this one, we may not have to go so deep into it, but this one just shows like what I used for this specific presentation, what font, because a lot of times people overlook the very small things, such as like fonts and sizes and colors, how you can work with different palettes to make the message come about, and a good design will make your slideshow it takes it to a notch higher, because as humans, we like things that we can see and things that we can interact with and things that we enjoy. So you can actually think of it as a way to like almost distract the audience and like, what is it? Not bribe, but it's like if you have a good design, people will be like, wow. And it's like they can buy into that alone and then sometimes even overlook the flaws. Yeah. So this one you can go in depth with it, just the color palettes, the fonts, and all that. Yeah. And then what I usually do when designing slides, sometimes I actually sketch some of them out, which really helps, but it's like it's a very good way of starting it because slideshows can be very overwhelming. A white space. White space is just empty space. Like you don't have to fill the whole thing with like words. You can actually leave it like this and then so white space is basically this. Like the white, sorry guys, I have a cold by the way. Any space that's not used. Yeah, it can be called negative space, it can be white space, but it's just any space that's left empty. Yeah? Sorry? No. I'll show you like examples. It's just basically that you don't have to cover the whole slide with things. You can leave it like very clean and refined where you just have the points and the picture and then like there's still like good empty space behind it. But I'll show you examples.
Yeah,
if you
example is if you go to the Google homepage, you just
yeah.
have to look at it. What's there? It's just the search box alone.
Yeah.
Does it do that?
Yeah, because it helps you zero in on exactly what the point of white space is to help you center what you want the focus to be. So if you have so many things, sometimes you'll just not be able to know what you're looking for. Yeah. So using pictures that are too busy. Like, has anyone seen presentations where like you use this picture and then like the text on top, you can't even read, you know, what it is. So by that time already, you can imagine somebody who's trying to buy into your product, they've kind of already spaced out on that because they are tired of of trying to read that. So as like I said before, actually solid colors they drive the point home very well. And this is just an example of contrast and the importance of contrast. Contrast is just the difference between two colors, like a dark one and a light one. And as much as you can, always use like the greatest contrast that you can. So a very dark background and a very light text, or the other way around, very light background and dark text. So the best example is just black and white. You see the way like if you use black and white, it never goes wrong. Like you can use white and black text, it looks good. Black with white text looks great, you know. But now when you start using things like blue and yellow, blue and purple, even my eyes just, I can't. So as much as you can, look for the darkest shade of a background. For me, I like the dark backgrounds best. So I always look for dark backgrounds, which I can show you actually in this next slide. Yeah, and crazy fonts. Simple fonts. Just, yeah, the deck should be able to help you through thinking about fonts and colors.